gotta toughen up and get back in the game. I'm putting all our sweet asses back up on the sugar app. We got 6 days to make rent. What is with these sugar daddies falling in love? Have boomers never heard of casual sex? You may have been engaged 12 times.
5.
And it doesn't matter if it was only for 16 hours.
14. We only play all together.
It's the new American dream, I guess.
Mind if I watch TV?
Go ahead.
I'll tell you one thing. This is gonna be my last 4G.
So, are you gay?
I'm gay for pay.
Is that a sexual identity now?
Yeah. It's got its own category on Pornhub.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Hurt, and I am here with the NRW, where nerds rule the world. And today we have with us Adam Fox, who plays Bud on Sugar Highs from OutTV. The series is a LGBTQIA comedy series that follows 3 young roommates who can't, actually I have it in my note that who can, but no, they cannot pay rent. They can't pay rent and would rather smoke up than get regular jobs. Bud is a modern dance diva, who daydreams of stardom but can't seem to even pay his college school tuition. And he comes up with this marvelous idea of becoming a sugar baby. And he kind of, we'll say, pimps out his roommates in the process. Bud isn't afraid of being honest and taking charge, but he is careful and he is maternal to his roommates. Regardless of what methods he uses, he wants only the best for his friends. Season 2, the premiered on April 10th, so it is out right meow for everyone to enjoy. Hi, Adam. How are you?
I'm good. That was a very spirited description. It was very good.
I know, is spirited a good thing though?
Yeah, it was very like alive. I was like, wow. I was like, oh wait, you're talking about me.
Yes, you.
I was so engaged with it that I forgot it was even about me.
Let's talk about Sugar Highs and how you're engaged with the show, because I mean it is your show. It is, how did OutTV come to your attention? Because it is a smaller streaming network. And how did Bud specifically come to you?
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, I guess they are for sure, I guess, a smaller streamer, but they are quite popular within the LGBTQ community. And then in addition to that, growing up in Canada, OutTV is a cable channel as well. So like even just at my family's, like whether or not we had OutTV, I think there were times where we had it just like automatically, but I think a lot of like it's not like a distant cable channel. It was like under one of the 60 main ones. So I remember just like seeing it and being aware of it, not necessarily clicking on it, because I think in the old days, I could be wrong, but they might have had more like X-rated content on it. Which a lot of the higher channels did. But yeah, so I've known about OutTV probably my whole life. And then the audition came like anything else, just a self-tape, and yeah, did the audition, but I was particularly excited about it. I was excited about the subject matter. I felt it was something that I could do better than anyone else. And I don't know. I mean, I think I often will think that and then I don't book something, but at least that instinct was right for this. And yeah, I will say too, like the dialogue felt very natural to me. Like as actors, it's like sometimes when we get an audition, we really have to find a way in, and we might have to like do a lot of written work or journaling or whatever to kind of get there. Whereas this one, I felt like I could just speak it and it already felt like it was sitting well in me. So yeah.
What were your initial thoughts of Bud when you were first reading him?
My initial thoughts of Bud was I felt like he was like if it was Schitt's Creek, and I don't even know if it's a good analogy, but I felt like he was like the Alexis, like the fun one, the funny one. I would say he's a little bit more of a cross between David and Alexis, probably. And then maybe a little bit edgier than both of them. But yeah, I think Bud is a very exciting character. I think there's a lot to do with it, and you know, it is like a comedic role, but there's a lot a lot in there, and it's a very high stakes life. Like playing somebody that dramatic means there's a lot of room to go for it.
Absolutely. So you're an actor, you're a director, you're a writer, but Bud is a dancer. How
Yeah.
much dance experience did you have prior to taking on this role?
So my relationship to dance is interesting. Also, sorry if you can hear sirens. There's a lot going on today.
You're good.
But oh, I think it's just AC actually. Anyways, so I've always loved dancing, and I've always danced at home, like just freestyle usually.
Mhm.
And I consider myself quite good at it naturally, but not very trained. And I have done a bit of training. I've taken dance a little bit while I was in school. And then more recently, I've done a lot of dance drop-ins, but I'm not a traditionally trained dancer. So it was a bit of, I was excited to have the opportunity to like get better at it for the show. And I didn't know to what extent we would be dancing in it until I was there. So I like met with a choreographer one-on-one prior to coming to like come up with a routine just in case I needed my own routine that like I came up with myself. And then the guy Anthony who plays the dance teacher in season one, um, when he sent over the routines, I booked a one-on-one with him again to like get up to the level of everyone else. And then in season two, we got a lot of it on the day. But yeah, this my dance scenes in season two are more about the what's happening in them and like the comedy. So I focus more on the acting and less on the dancing for season two, I would say,
Gotcha. So
for
it's
those
not
scenes specifically.
it's not so much it's just a part of him, not so much like his entire personality almost in the first season.
It's not his entire personality, but it is a big part of him. And there's a lot of dance scenes, a lot of dance stuff, and I love it. Like I love dancing, so I'm that for me was a big exciting part of it.
So let's kind of dive into that a little bit. Every single character that most actors play, they put a part of them into it. They might change the character to reflect them a little bit more. What of you did you put into Bud? Or vice versa? And puns intended, by the way, with that.
Oh, like sexually? Lol. Um, oh, that took me a second. Um, I think, sorry, your joke was funny. Um, yeah, I think what I put of myself into Bud was, I mean, a lot to be honest. I think, um, there's like a scene in season one, without spoiling too much, of like a conflict with the parents that felt very real, even if it wasn't exactly the same like subject matter. Like it just felt like a very real kind of fight that I've probably had with my parents at some point. Um, Luckily in real life, I have a very good relationship with my family and they're really wonderful, but we can all relate to like parents disapproving of a choice that we've made. Um, I can very much relate to, and I think a lot of people in the arts can relate to like wanting to just do the one thing they want to do. Like, so for him, just dancing and then making money off that, and then, you know, enjoying his spare time rather than juggling a part-time job and dance classes and all that. So I can definitely relate to not wanting to work menial jobs. I definitely, especially when I was younger, um, had trouble taking side hustles seriously and always had kind of one foot out the door, and I don't think I hit it sometimes. Whereas obviously it's better to just, as you get more mature, you realize even if you need to have a restaurant job or whatever your side hustle is, you do need to do a good job, because a more positive view is that it's helping support your passion versus being annoyed that you're not doing the thing you want to do, which is more where he's at, which I understand. And then I think like there's just a lot. I think what I get from Bud that's nice is it's kind of empowering playing Bud. Like in real life, I don't get to yell at people as much. I'm generally very neurotic and thoughtful, so I'm um I'm not just saying whatever I want to people the way he does. So it's pretty nice to get to do that through him. Also my love life in real life isn't great. And I usually have the lower hand, whereas he always has the upper hand, which is nice. I would say I've learned from him on how to get the upper hand, but I don't think I have, unfortunately.
Couple
Maybe
more
one day.
seasons. A couple more seasons and you'll get that just
Yeah, I hope so.
fine. Oh, I just had a great question. It completely lost me because I was thinking about a really bad joke again. I'm sorry. I've got all
Oh,
the dad jokes. This is
that's good.
this is why you put the queer person to talk to the queer people because it's just nothing but dad jokes at some point.
Yes.
Um, uh, so the show it does center around the gay community in so many ways. You do have someone who is technically not gay,
Hmm.
though
But
sexual
he's, yeah,
though it's a sexuality is in question and what is sexuality and
and
gender.
fluid. Yeah.
Um, and the question comes up is, do you search for, but excuse me, but so much of the movie isn't just about sexuality, even though it is on Out TV and even though it is groundbreaking even for the channel. It's so much about just the lifestyle, about living, about being human in the modern day, especially for I would say younger Gen X's and millennials. So is that something that you look for? Are you looking for stories that tell stories, that give morals, that make other people see themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure, in doing like the press this time around for season two, I actually had a really interesting, I don't know if I should talk about my therapy session, but my therapist said one thing that was really interesting. Basically, um, when you're going through the press, think about what the values are of the people watching the show and what they might look for. And also think about when you were younger and looking for things on TV or people in pop culture. You're trying to see yourself in people. So, that's why representation is so important because there's so many people that are looking to be seen. And if they're looking on TV and they're not really feeling it, like they're not seeing it anywhere, like it's kind of isolating. So, yeah, I think definitely wanting to, yeah, help people be seen, feel seen, be part of that. I think it's rare. I don't know, like it's rare to really it's also like so many characters, it's so focused on being likable. And while I do think Bud is likable, he's definitely got some like tougher moments, like where he's kind of rough on other people, whether emotionally, verbally, or physically. Um, so it's like I would say he's more so like living out loud versus just being like a more kind of digestible version, which I enjoy. Again, it's liberating to not just be like this cookie cutter character and like to represent more broadly like a real story. So yeah, I feel like I'm losing the track of the question, but
No,
yeah.
you're fine. Flow is flow. It's do you regularly look for characters like Bud when you're
Oh,
looking for roles? Like,
when I'm what? When I'm looking for roles? I would say I will when I'm auditioning, I audition for anything that comes to me and I give it my all always. But there's definitely ones that I'm more excited to do. Um, yeah, so I would say I give my all to anything that comes to me and I would play absolutely anything, but I do think I get particularly excited for some roles versus others. And I think this was one where I was just like, oh, this is great. This is fun. Um, And I think, yeah, there's a lot of roles within this realm that are particularly exciting to play. And I'll say that, like, earlier in my career, like just starting to audition, I definitely had this idea that like straight roles were better for some reason. Which maybe at the time was true, maybe because like at the time maybe LGBTQ roles were more relegated to like smaller ones. But I would say nowadays, like a lot of the auditions that I get, I again, it's not necessarily about like a straight role versus an LGBTQ role. One, neither is better than the other. There's some very juicy straight roles. There's some very juicy not straight roles, but I do think a lot of LGBTQ roles these days are very exciting and like a lot going on and a lot of nuance and a lot of playfulness and it's fun to just again like there's sort of no when it comes to like queer roles there's no limit like you can do A to Z and it works which again very liberating to just like go for it. And I think like with Bud specifically, he is very himself and doesn't care and isn't holding back. And I think like so many people in the queer community, there's so much anti-femininity in all of society. But of course, we know, particularly among queer males, there's a lot of um, anti-femininity in general. Um, so it can be hard not to internalize that a little bit just from life as well as in career. Um, and so it's really empowering to play a character that completely does not care about that. And not only that, not only are they pretty effeminate, but they're also simultaneously very assertive and like strong. So it's kind of cool.
But also has that touch of like of like genuine like sweetness, and you can tell it's just hiding deep down inside, and it's with those
Yes.
moments that they explode coming out.
Well, yeah, and I think like that's if I think about like maybe why I got the role versus someone else, like I think I'm someone that like if I was to be Bud in real life, I would similarly like want to be that girl that's got it going on and is super strong and doesn't give an F or whatever. But I would still like be messing up all the time like he is and would just kind of like not execute things perfectly. Whereas a lot of people that would be like a Bud in real life or might play Bud differently, they would have him more, I think, sleek. And I think me playing him wants to be sleek, but like me in real life, like again, like I always want to be like really like together, but then like my fly's open or like something's off or like it's really hard for me to really get it together. So I think that's maybe what I bring to it.
Well, it's a lot of fun. Once again, the first episode of season 2 is out right now on OutTV streaming. But
Yes,
I do want to talk to you a little bit about your other things. I know we're supposed to be talking about Sugar Highs, but let's talk about some other stuff. One of your
sure.
big things right now is you have a short film on the festival circuit right now, correct? Still got it?
Yes, I mean, a little bit less so now. I think it's mostly done, but yeah, so I'm now sort of looking for a home for that. I made it quite a while ago, but I still like it and I still think it stands up and it's very like my sense of humor. So
Tell,
I would love to find a home for it.
tell us a little bit about it.
Sure, it's semi-autobiographical, as a lot of people's like first works are. And it's an absurd comedy, and it's basically about a guy who's now in school that used to be a model, and thinks that he looks exactly the same as in his portfolio pictures, uh, in spite of the cues of everybody that he maybe doesn't still got it. Um, and basically his like journey towards like self-love as he um, tries to get back into modeling semi-successfully. But it pokes fun. I mean, I wrote it a while ago. I wrote it in 2019, which was like when I had just become aware of like influencer culture and stuff. So it pokes fun at influencer culture, which is still relevant, but I think influencers are a little less corny than they used to be. Um, maybe, but yeah, it pokes fun at that among other things. But it pokes fun at like gay Instagram culture too, like Insta-gay and all that stuff. So yeah, but I would say absurd again with like first works. I would say absurd comedy is a genre that I really like. So makes sense.
So as a writer and director, where would you like to move forward with more films? What would you like to do?
Yeah, so I currently have a series that I've been working on for a while to get developed, and I'm not the most patient person, but from talking to other people that have made shows, it takes a long time to get something off the ground. It could take 10 years, which I mean, I hope it comes faster than that, but yeah, I hope that gets made sooner than later. Hope it finds a home soon. And then yeah, a lot of my work has been very like a lot of my writing in the last few years has been very independent. So it'd be nice to maybe collaborate. I wrote a romantic comedy recently and finished a draft of the first draft of it, which I think is a lot of fun. And it's also a little autobiographical. Um, and it encapsulates like travel, which I'm really passionate about. And it's about like a search for love and family as well. So a lot of things that I love. And then I don't know. I feel like it's a good idea, but it kind of got thrown around recently. My grandfather was a very successful pianist,
Ooh.
and he's in like the Canadian Encyclopedia and stuff. And I feel like, from what my dad's told me, he's got an interesting story, and it seems like something that would be very easy to find funding for, given the historic nature of it and relevance. Um, so that could be a thing to consider in the future.
Would that be more documentarian or would that be more like based on true story?
It would have to be based on true story. It would be tough because he died 16 years ago, and then it would just be my dad's accounts, which hopefully are accurate. Um, I believe whatever he said, but I don't know how that much. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pressure to do something about a family member, but it would also be interesting. I also would love to do something on my mom's life, but um, I don't know if that's just because she's my mom and I think she's had a really cool life, or objectively she has.
Oh, well, I mean, why not both?
Why not both? Why not at least try?
Adam, I thank you so much for your time. Could you tell our audience where they can find you, follow you on all the socials so that they can see you in the future?
For sure. Um, so on Instagram, I'm Adam Fox Official. I think the same on um, I don't use Twitter much, but Twitter. And I think just Adam Fox on TikTok. Um, and then yeah, the show is on OutTV, but you can also OutTV is available as an add-on to a lot of other streamings for either very little and or a free trial. So you can also watch it on Prime, Roku, or Apple TV.
Absolutely. Definitely check it out. It's a whole bunch of fun. So check out Sugar Highs with Adam Fox and a slew of amazing actors. Thank you so much, Adam. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.